Let me tell you a story. Three questions. The king of Chetan, Vichitradev, loved witty dialogues between scholars. He rewarded such people who could answer difficult or unusual questions. Once the king visited Shilapur, the capital of the kingdom of Jadhav Desh. He was accompanied by his queen and his son, Prince Shamal. Although he did not say so, he desired to talk to Princess Sukanti of Jadavdesh. He had heard that Sukanti was a highly intelligent and wise girl. He wanted to see if he could arrange his son's marriage with her. Vichitradev naturally stayed at Shilapur as the guest of the local king, Sukanti's father. Sukanti herself looked after the royal guests. Vichitradev was charmed with her conduct. After a fortnight, he told his host, I will be happy to have Sukanti as my daughter in law. Sukanti's father said, I will be happy to have Shamal as my son in law. But now that Sukanti has seen and talked to Shamal, let me find out what she feels about the proposal. When the king told his daughter Sukanti about the proposal, she said, Father, the prince seems to be a good and intelligent young man, but I have to live with the queen, his mother too. I must find out how she is. My child, the queen of Chetan rarely talks to anybody. She spends most of her time in meditation or silence. She has been our guest all these days, but apart from having strolls in the gardens, she has never joined her husband in any of the functions. How are you going to find out what kind of lady she is? Asked the king. Father, her husband, King Vichitradev, is fond of talking to me. I will find out through him, said Sukanti. That day in the afternoon, while talking to the princess, King Vichitradev said, My daughter, I hear that, like me, you too enjoy witty dialogues. Why don't you ask me some questions? I will try to answer them to the best of my capacity. Surely, Your Majesty, it will be my great joy to profit by your wisdom. I will put three questions to you. Please give me a thought to them and give me the answers either in the evening or tomorrow, said the princess. Very good. What are your questions? Asked the king. What is the subject on which even the wisest man acts or speaks like a fool? The second question is, what makes a mother most sad? And the last question is, what makes a sensible wife feel most humiliated? The king said he would give the answers in the evening and retired to the guest house. In the evening, he was back with the princess. He said, My daughter, I have thought out the answers to your questions. I am glad that you have. What are your answers? Asked the princess. The answer to your first question is Father. A father may be very wise and intelligent, but he is generally blind to the defects of his son. If he hears that his son has done something grievously wrong, his first reaction is, No, my son could not have done so. It is because the boy is his son. In other words, his own pride is injured when he receives any unwelcome report about his son. He wants to discount it or disbelieve it. This is a human failing, said the king. Yes, Your Majesty. And what is the answer to my second question? Asked the princess. A mother becomes sad if she finds her daughter gone astray. It is because in the daughter she expects to see the continuity of her own nobility, answered the king. That is so, Your Majesty. And what is the answer to my third question? Asked the princess. My daughter, the answer to your third question is a sensible wife feels most humiliated when she publicly hears unkind and unjust comments on her husband. Mother Sati died because King Daksha spoke unkindly of her husband, Lord Shiva. That sentiment still holds good in regard to noble wives, said the king. Thank you, Your Majesty. I am fully satisfied with your answers, said Princess Sukanti. That night, the princess told her father, I find the Queen of Chetan very wise. How did you find out that? Asked her father. From the answers King Vichitradev gave to my questions. But the answers could have been given by the king himself. What makes you think that he learned them from his wife? Asked her father. The princess smiled and said, Father, such was the nature of my questions that only a wise woman could have answered them, not a man, however wise. That's the end of the story. Thank you for listening.